In this module, we will learn about how indirect methods of estimating mortality indicators are used through the censuses in countries where the civil registration system data is either not existent or is not of adequate quality needed to carry out direct estimations of mortality patterns. One such method of the census differencing method for estimating intercensal mortality, whereby the method is used to estimate the crude death rate at age 5 and above for the intercensal periods comprising of 2 census periods. The method is discussed further in the module along with examples. The method does have its limitations, some of which include that, for instance, there is the assumption of no migration, of close to migration, which makes the method difficult to use in countries where migration flows are very high. There are also age reporting errors that affect the 2 census populations considered. However, there are also methods to adjust for these limitations accordingly, making it more suitable for its use.
I am Dr. C.P. Prakasham, retired professor from International Institute for Population Sciences, Mumbai. Module 33, Census Differencing Method for Estimating Intercensal Mortality. Learning Objective. In this module, we will be learning about number 1, notations used for intercensal period, number 2, birth calculation, number 3, death calculation, number 4, intercensal death rate, number 5, errors and limitations in the method, and number 6, with example. In countries where the civil registration system are either non-existing, deficient in quality, the mortality indicators estimated through indirect methods through census age distribution. One such method is by using intercensal method. You can see the graph where there is a lot of variation in the mortality indicators. Census differencing method. Census differencing method is used to estimate crude birth rate at age 5 and above for the intercensal period. Here we assume, for example, 201, 2011, 2 census period. Here it is assumed that intercensal period is 10 years and population under study is close to migration. Notations used for calculation. PXZ, number of persons aged X at last birthday enumerated in the first census at time Z. PXZ plus 10, number of persons aged X at last birthday enumerated in the second census at time Z plus 10. BZ plus 10 minus X, number of births during the Xth year prior to the second census data, Z plus 10. Example, Z equals to 2001 census and Z plus 10 equals to 2011 census. Birth calculation. During intercensal period, Z plus 10 consists of 1. Deaths among who have been enumerated in the first census Z occurring during the period Z plus 10. Deaths out of births during Z plus 10. Intercensal death calculation. Total number of deaths during Z plus 10 equals to DZ plus 10 equals to P0 plus Z minus P10 plus Z plus 10 plus summation of 0 to 9 B Z plus 10 minus X minus Px Z plus 10. In the above equation, the deaths which have occurred for the births during the inter-census period to be estimated as PZ0 plus minus PZ plus 10, 10 plus equals to DZ plus 5, 5 plus, whereas DZ plus 5, 5 plus refers to deaths at age 5 and above during inter-census period. The deaths at 5 and above during inter-census period multiplied by ratio of deaths at all ages and deaths at age 5 and above is denoted as DZ plus 5. That is, DZ plus 5 equals to DZ plus 5, 5 plus multiplied by D0 divided by D5 plus, where D0 and D5 plus is obtained from an external source, namely from civil registration. Since the DZ plus 5 refers to inter-census deaths Z plus 10, the average annual death rate is given by Z plus 10 equals to DZ plus 5 divided by 10 whole divided by mid-decade population. Since the method is based on difference of two census population, this method is known as census differencing method. Census differencing method is subject to following errors. 1. Inter-census deaths above 5 and overestimated because of the deaths in the age group 0 to 4 among those who have been enumerated during first census would be higher than those of subsequent years. Number 2. The population 0 to 4 in developing country is under-enumerated, which affects true number of deaths in the age group 5 and over. Limitations of this method. Coverage of two census population. Necessary adjustment is required. Since the method assumes closed migration, unusable for countries where migration is high. It should be adjusted for inter-census migration. Age reporting errors affect the two census population. Proper adjustment is required. Table number 1 will give you the example. Table number 1, estimating crude death rate of India by census differencing method 1971-81. If you see the column number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 will give you the input for calculating estimated crude death rate as a 14.85. This has been derived from the SRS. In table number 1, column 4, estimated through the use of SRS age-specific death rates for the decade 1971-81 on mid-year 1976 age distribution. Column 5, that is population 76 equals to population 71 minus population 81 divided by 2. Column 6, crude death rate equals to column 3 multiplied by column 4 divided by population multiplied by 1000. Source, Registrar General, estimation of vital rates for the decade 1971-81, census 5% sample data, series 1, paper number 1, 1985. Here we will illustrate some more examples. The US Census Bureau has produced inter-census estimate to total national population for the last 20 years by select characteristics using two approaches, survey based and model based, useful towards determining inter-census income distribution and family and household level poverty measures on the subnational level in some areas. One of the ways in which such data is obtained is through enhancing secondary sources, but using the supplementary census information of national surveys is constrained due to the small size of areas. Another way is to use administrative records with national level data. Examples are given how these approaches have been used in different cases. With regard to monthly employment and unemployment estimates to improve small area, inter-census estimates on seasonal and migration farms workers, as there is very little quality data on characteristics of farm workers. The possible ways to improve inter-census small area data. Existing survey data could be used to model estimates together with data from administrative records for small areas, and administrative records could have more frequent data and with wider coverage. Number C. Administrative data could be used in the following ways, although confidentiality is a problem. Number 1. Data by program can be analyzed according to geographic areas. Geocoding can be carried out. Number 2. Program data could be linked to geographic database. Number 3. Program data can be linked to the household level.